Tesla's valuation is 1.46 trillion. NVIDIA just crossed 5 trillion valuation. These are what they call as the Mag-7 companies: Tesla, NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta, and so on and so forth. I think I might have missed out Google. Google is also called Alphabet. That's the name of the holding company. So all these companies are called the Magnificent Seven because they've seen some huge run-ups to their stock price. Their valuations are in the stratosphere. Now, if that is the case, then why are they laying off left, right, and center? That's what we're going to explore in this monologue. A small request to all of you, as always, to please like this video. A lot of work and research has gone into providing you with all the data so you can understand what really happened, and is this just because of artificial intelligence, or are there other factors involved? That's what we are going to explore. As always, a quick infographic to give you more clarity, and here we go. The layoff paradox. With such high revenue, why are the tech giants cutting thousands of staff? So the era of growth at all costs appears to be over now, and they are looking at a couple of new evolving situations. One is operational efficiency, and the other is AI-driven productivity. There's also a third reason, and I'm going to come to that in just a moment. Let's take a quick look at what has happened over the past 6 or 7 years. First, the efficiency and AI mandate. Now, what has happened is the primary driver appears to be to have a leaner operating model. People are saying that one whole layer of management is being cut off. See, this happened a few years ago also, where you had mid-level managers, 1, 2, 3 levels and so on, that got cut. So the way I have seen at least the high-tech companies operate is that you have teams of about 5 people under one manager. The manager himself or herself is also somebody who can do hands-on work. And then there will be like 5 such teams which will be under one director, and that director would be reporting to the vice president, and then the vice president in turn might be reporting to vice president of engineering, and then from there on to the C-suite. In fact, the VP of engineering himself or herself might be a person in the corporate suite. So just 3 or 4 layers is all we are getting to see. However, it could be different for some other companies. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but we are looking specifically at the Mag-7 companies, and more or less this kind of model is what is in place here. So why are they cutting so many jobs? First of all, looks like they are investing hugely into artificial intelligence, billions being poured as a matter of fact, and it's not just AI infrastructure, but chips as well as data centers. So infrastructure means, the internet facility and all the other things that come across. Data centers are the storage systems. Then you need to find out how to supply power to all this, and plus when you build these data centers, you have to populate them with servers, and for that you probably need some specialized chips because AI demands specialized chips for optimum performance. So that's one reason. Second thing is, many of the manual roles are being automated because of the improving AI technology, and that is actually handling tasks in support, administration, and middle management, and that's also creating conditions where layoffs are doable because you no longer need many of the people who are doing these tasks. Next, flattening of hierarchy. Like I said, there are only 3 or 4 levels before you hit the vice president. So I don't know how much more flattening you can do. Maybe a director can oversee 25, 30 people, in which case the other lower level managers can be removed. But then what usually happens is these managers, like I said, are also hands-on. If one person falls sick, the manager fills in and makes sure that the deadlines are met. So I really am at a loss to understand how you can flatten the hierarchy even more than what you've already done. Again, those of you who are working in some of these Mag-7 companies, maybe you can set us straight about what really is going on. How many layers before you hit the CEO? 4, 5, 6? That's what I'd like to know. Then the other thing is the reinvestment, the cost savings from all these things, layoffs, because personnel costs like salaries are the highest expenditure line item for all these companies. Therefore, whenever you cut the workforce, that goes directly to your bottom line, resulting in saving, and perhaps these savings are being reinvested, like I said, in the grand picture of AI. Once the AI picture starts crumbling down, and believe me, it will, then you will start seeing a lot of things happen, even more bloodbath. Okay, so here you see the chart that tells you the strategic pivot from funding rapid headcount growth to funding AI-driven efficiency. So as a measure of a proportionate thing, AI and efficiency R&D is going up to 65%, and you have operational cost cutting 1 in 4, 25%, and you have rapid headcount growth that has started going down. People are trying to get more done with less. That seems to be the mantra. This is not all. There's also constant shareholder pressure to keep on giving more and more and more back to the shareholders. Although I must tell you, other than I think Alphabet and Apple, the others don't pay any dividends. So the question of giving something back to the stockholders, I don't know what it is. It's just an increase in price. That's it. And people believe that these are growth stocks and therefore you should buy them, and if you want to sell them, you can make a profit by doing so, but we are not going to ask you to hold on to our stocks. You may want to do it on your own, but there is no dividend story. In fact, if I remember correctly of the Mag-7, it's only Google that does not report quarterly numbers, and it's a big leap of faith. In fact, the other thing I'll also tell you is that Amazon has still not turned a profit. Although I could be wrong, and I would like people to correct me, saying that for the past so many quarters, Amazon has been turning a profit. Anyway, so these are all macro level impressions. And how much is a company committed to maximizing profitability and shareholder value? This does result in what is called as cutthroat capitalism. So this thing has really come to mean a lot of bad things, a lot of hardships, especially if you are in middle management, you are in your 40s, finding a job of equivalent pay and perks is perhaps not so easy, although you'll have the halo of having worked for a Mag-7 company that might hold you in good stead. But be that as it may, it does create some disruptions, and I'm sorry for those of you who are going through that. But if you look at the layoffs pre-2022 and post-2022, they tell an interesting story. When there were layoffs before 2022, there was a negative investor sentiment of -50. Whereas after 2022, it has turned positive and it has gone up to as much as 80. Now, this is not the only thing that has caused these layoffs. The other thing was, when you had a pandemic where everybody was forced to work from home, the Mag-7 companies hired like crazy. And I'm going to show you a chart that will give you on a scale of 100, if you assume that there were 100 employees working at these companies in 2019, how much did it go up by 2022? It went up from 100 to 190, which means they practically doubled in headcount. And what you're seeing is perhaps some of this headcount being retrenched now, and you can see that in 2024 it came down to 165, and again they have started hiring, and now you are settling at 168. So this is where things are. That means that some of these companies are also right sizing, because they think that thanks to AI and also to the fact that there is no more COVID, they don't need that many people. Also, you will notice that all these companies are asking their employees to come work in the campuses. You can no longer work from home. That perk of being able to work from home, that's gone. Only few companies are allowing their employees to work remotely, and I would be surprised if that happens to be even completely disappearing in a short while. Now, the other important factor that is weighing in on all these things is Section 174 of the US tax code. Since 2022, companies can no longer deduct 100% of their R&D expenses, including engineering salaries, in a single year. They'll have to amortize it over a period of 5 years or spread their costs over 5 years. This technical change makes R&D labor immediately more expensive from a tax perspective, and that creates another incentive to lower the headcount. I mean, this sounds a little cruel. I mean, if there is a good employee and is producing good stuff, would you want to just cut them off just because that's going to reduce your tax overhead? I don't know. I mean, see, this I find a little bit hard to believe, viewers, because many of these companies have committed tax inversion, meaning they are not headquartered anymore in the United States. They are headquartered in countries like Ireland, for example, where the corporate tax is only 12% as opposed to United States where it is 22%. So I am a little bit skeptical about this. I don't know, I'll have to look into more details, but this is what the research came up with, saying that this is also one reason why the layoffs are happening. Be that as it may, it means a little bit of pain for many of you. I am with you. Hopefully you'll all find jobs of equal or better perks and salaries, and that this life will go on. My guess is AI is a bit hyped up, although I am also beginning to reap the benefits of AI. I like it, but how far am I going to go with this? It's a question that I would like to answer maybe in a couple of years' time, not right now. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.